This is a Jekko Knight video blog. Jekko Knight here. If you haven't noticed by some of my videos, I'm a wrestling fan. I've been a wrestling fan since I was a little kid. I enjoy it. I've done a few wrestling videos here and there. I was always thinking of doing wrestling, videos, wrestling reviews of Monday Night Raw, TNA Impact, maybe SmackDown. That's one thing I probably won't do just because of a few reasons. They're not really good reasons, but one of the things I like to do is I like to watch a lot of other people's wrestling reviews, and I'm subscribed to a lot of people, and, everyone has varying opinions. Most of them are kind of the same, but, you get a little person's point of view. But then you read the comments, and I'm getting older, and, I'm pretty glad that, people respect my opinions because I respect theirs. But every so often you'll get a fucking troll that just is ignorant or just wants to be a fucking dick, and I don't know, I'm getting older, I don't tolerate that kind of shit, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of the people who post comments on these videos have such mixed fucking views of wrestling. And it's kind of hard not to because, everyone had a certain genre of wrestling. I watched, my biggest one was WrestleMania 6, Hulk Hogan versus the Ultimate Warrior. And all those gimmick characters, they were fucking awesome, dude. And it was, it wasn't like the Attitude Era, but, it was still pretty entertaining. And I know this is going to sound kind of strange, but I missed the beginning half of the Attitude Era. And it was weird watching WCW, back around 96, because when I watched it a couple times when I was little. Got to see Ric Flair, Sid Vicious, and, a lot of the people that made it popular before they went to WWE for short periods and stuff, Big Van Vader and stuff. And watching it in 96, all the big stars from WWE went over there, like Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage, Warrior for like fucking a month or so. All the big names that I grew up with was there, and that's what I really enjoyed. And I kind of like that, But because of that, I missed the beginning Attitude Era, and about when WCW started to suck, I used to switch back and forth, And you probably heard of that legend where they announced that Mick Foley was going to win the WWE Championship, and then a bunch of viewers switched over to WWE. I was one of those viewers, and that's about the time when I really started to watch, Monday Night Raw, whenever I could. I'd have to go to my friend's house across the street, There was one tiny section of WWE that I'm glad I missed, but I missed like late 2007 till late 2010. That's when, wrestling's alright to wrestling's fucking PG bullshit, And I see a lot of videos saying like the PG era sucks. It does. It's not because it's PG. You can get away with some stuff on PG. It's because WWE chooses not to do PG. A lot of it's fucking rated G shit, children's shit, Brodus Clay dancing, Santino Morello, have this big old tough fucking guy like Sheamus, and then clawback! And then fucking pins him. Like, what the fuck is that shit? Come on, dude. But yeah, I missed certain areas of wrestling, and, I've gotten knowledge from DVDs, but that only gets you so much. You really had to be there and watch it every Monday night, all the time. And I was busy watching WCW, went to WWE kind of late and stuff, and now this has to do with a lot of the fans, the fans always complain, and if you don't agree with them, they'll try to fucking, counter your arguments with personal shit. And a lot of you probably notice, no one really ever says shit unless I piss someone off, is I don't have the perfect, flow of speech. If you notice my videos, a lot of my videos are edited quite a bit because I tend to fuck up my speech quite a bit. Like, I don't really have an accent, I just can't pronounce shit right all the time, and I get tongue-tied and stuff, and I'm surprised I don't get more shit from the way I talk, because I don't have the best voice, you know. I probably could make it cool. This is Jekyll Knight, and this is the wrestling review. I remember, like, when I started in 2007, when I didn't want anyone to know who I was, I kind of had a lower voice just to kind of disguise myself. Now this is about how I sound like, except this mask fucking muffles the sound like a motherfucker. So a lot of times, if it's hard to understand what I'm saying, a lot of it isn't because I, pronounce shit. A lot of it really sounds different coming from a fucking mask. And I would take my mask off, but I would scare away all my viewers, and they would be blind, like the time Rick the Model Martel sprayed that shit in Jake the Snake Robber's eyes. Do you remember that shit? Maybe? That's the kind of era that I grew up in, man. And I guess one of the main reasons why I don't do commentary is because I can't compete with a lot of the big names out there, I figured I'd just watch those videos, I'd promote them, I'd like them, I'd comment, Yeah, I'm starting to discover more wrestling videos and stuff, but I don't think I can really do good, wrestling reviews unless I bitch about something, and I'm starting to get a little more wrestling fans subscribe to me, so I might do more wrestling-related stuff. I'll probably do a Sin Cara video since I haven't used that mask in a while. I need to go to the Mexican marketplace and get more. See if they have the red one. They have the black one. I should have bought more, but I was just fucking broke that day. Well, what do you think? Should I do wrestling reviews, commentaries, and stuff like that, opinions? Leave a comment. And if you want to see me do more wrestling stuff, go ahead. If you don't, then, leave a comment. If you want to say, Jekyll Knight, your voice sucks, and take that mask off, quit being a fucking coward, go ahead, do that too, I don't give a shit. Anyway, that's all for this video blog. Jekyll Knight, signing out. Oh yeah, and another thing is, everyone's always saying, WWE was PG back then, like it is today. In a way. Before Monday Night Raw, it was on primetime television. There were standards and practices, and those were, standards and practices back then were a lot stricter than they are today on regular television. And yes, it was kind of PG because you couldn't do a lot of cussing. The violence was, restricted. But it was a little more violent because that was more allowed back then. For example, take fucking Looney Tunes cartoons, Merry Melodies, all those old-ass ones from the 60s. You can't show that shit today because it shows mild cartoon violence, and kids these days are so fucking stupid they probably attempt to do half that shit, It wasn't until WWE went to Monday Night Raw when they started to be able to be a little bit more violent, and then,